What's going on, people? Welcome back to the match preview as we look ahead to the game at Selhurst Park on Wednesday night against Manchester United, the rescheduled game after the Queen passed away. Massive game for Palace, another game to prove a point, another game to potentially pick up points, which we desperately need at this stage. As always, though, if you do enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to not miss out on future Palace content. And let us know your thoughts ahead of the game in the comment section down below. Patrick, I want to start off with a positive. It's all doom and gloom. Transfers ain't happening. We're losing games. We're not scoring goals. But in the last game against Chelsea, I don't think it was a disaster. Let's just say that. We created chances, which Kepa made some excellent saves to stop us from scoring a goal. On the other hand, you can also make a point that Chelsea did create chances, and we were lucky at times that they didn't do better with the chances that they created. But, you know, for me, I think this is another game to basically prove a point, another game to potentially pick up a point, but it's going to be against very difficult opponents. But look, what's the one positive are you taking from the Chelsea game going into this one? Because there were some positives.
No, there were a couple of positives. I mean, more than a few. You're absolutely right. I think we definitely created chances. Obviously, Olise chance, the Doucouré chance. I thought the effort and the fight was there. I really love it's going to be a silly point, but I like the fact that Guehi and Zaha around Gallagher when he's trying to time waste and putting him off the field. Just that whole, get the game going, that kind of thing. And again, people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. But Chelsea is still our very, very good squad. Yes, they had like 11 players out. But I was watching TalkSport before. They have spent in the last 6 months £500 million. All right, I'll say it again.
Ridiculous.
£500 million. That is ridiculous. So, again, to lose 1-0 to them, I hated the loss. But, again, they're very good. They're a very deep squad. They're a better team than we're going to be right now. It was a tough loss to handle. But, again, to me, we have to try and build on that.
Yeah, so in terms of for you, is it the fight that you want carrying into the next game? Is there any performance or anything that you like that we done on the pitch as well?
No, obviously the couple thing. I want to see the changes in. I would like to see Hughes start because not just to join the bandwagon, but I think it would be a better upgrade than Schlupp. I like to see Edouard start up front because I believe that Edouard starting centrally allows Zaha to go left, Olise to go right, and as they go as a 10, and that to me gives us a bit more balance. And if you want to switch it up, and you wanted to, you could always put Wolf up top and switch him with Edouard if you wanted to. You could always switch Eze and Olise, you know what I mean? But having Ayew in there and Schlupp in there doesn't give us that flexibility, and it's not our best 11. Having said that, our 11 isn't that strong, but if we can put out a best 11, let's try that.
So for me, I think Wilf up front, that needs to change. He shouldn't be playing up front. It doesn't work. And I would like to see him go up wide, which would bring back the Aaron Wan-Bissaka versus Wilf
great point
thing again,
right.
Which not many people might not think about, but we'll talk about Wan-Bissaka later on. And then also with Eze, I think this is a big question mark. So what happens, do you think, with Eze? He hasn't really been performing that greatly. I would like to see him have another try, especially with his creativity. I don't know what other options there are. I would like to see him in that number 10 role. But realistically, saying that, I don't think he's going to drop Jordan Ayew. So in terms of players playing out position, do you think he does make them adjustments in terms of Wilf going out wide and Eze potentially going through the middle?
So here's the thing. I think Ayew got a reprieve when he scored the goal against Bournemouth. The game actually, funny enough, I thought Eze had a really good game in, which is about 4 games ago. I think at this point, you can drop Ayew, put Zaha wide, put Edouard up front, and it wouldn't be, I don't think even Ayew could have a problem with that, but based on the fact that you want to try something different. I think as a manager, you have to be able to drop players or change things up because you feel it's best for the team, as opposed to just saying, I've got to keep Ayew in there because of whatever reason. So I think actually for this match, he could make that change. Having said that, listen, Manchester United are a very, very strong side. I've told you many times before that I really, really, really rate Ten Hag as a manager. He's made Rashford better. He's made Wan-Bissaka better. He's made Fred better. Players that everybody thought were going to, probably be leaving and or might leave United made better. So from that standpoint, I think he can make changes to this lineup in order to make us better. And I think going into the same lineup as we had against Chelsea would not be a good idea.
Yeah, look, another change that potentially he might be forced to make is Joachim Andersen. And the question is, who does he play? Tompkins, of course, came on in that Chelsea game. But for me, it's not as straightforward as he should play James Tompkins. I think in this game, yes, I understand he has experience and he understands the game and all of the other cliches that you want to put about. But for me, experience is overrated when it reaches a certain level. I mean, you can have good experience, but you also need talent on the pitch. But if he does go for Tompkins, I feel like he's setting himself up massively, Vieira. And the reason for that is the opponent. Marcus Rashford is on fire. So you need pace in that back line. If you put James Tompkins in that back line facing Marcus Rashford, he's going to fly by him any day of the week. Now, I'm not saying Richards is the fastest player in the world, but he's 100% faster than James Tompkins. And Manchester United in this game, of course, Rashford is still good in the air, but my biggest concern is not in the air, it's what he does on the actual ground with his pace. So right. I need to see Richards start in this game ideally, because if he doesn't start, Guehi, I'm fine with, but Tompkins then runs in behind, I think it could be a massive problem. And that's the reason why I feel like Richards should be selected ahead of James Tompkins if Anderson isn't fit. But for you, Patrick, do you think if Joachim ain't playing, do you think he goes with that Tompkins route? Do you think he's going to be thinking about the Rashford aspect? Because I think he should. I think he's the best player on the pitch. And if you don't make the right adjustment, you're going to be punished.
So you made a lot of good points. And I was thinking about what you said about Rashford. But here's my thought process, okay? So I watched the City game and Rashford went down injured right before halftime, got up, recovered, scored the winning goal. Martial went off injured. For me, I would start Chris Richards. Again, living in America, I've seen him play plenty of times. My only issue is, has he fully recovered? He had an injury over the break. That's why he didn't go to the World Cup with the US national team. Is he fully recovered? And I'm just throwing this out there. And does Vieira trust him? Having said that, if Martial doesn't start, you know who's going to start? Wout Weghorst, who's 6'4", 6'5". He's got the height. Honestly, having thought about that Martial probably won't start. And if he starts Weghorst, he's going to start Tompkins, because his thought process is going to be that in the air, the challenges in the air, balls in the box. Would I rather have Chris Richards in there or James Tompkins? And I personally would still start Richards, but I'm telling you right now, with Weghorst, I'm very afraid he'll start Tompkins instead.
Yeah, I still would, because Richards ain't bad in the air. When he has played, he's looked decent in the air. And you know, some of these myths that we bring up. I remember at the start when Elisa first played, he can't do any of the defensive duties. Right. No, he hasn't played, so you can't say that he can't do any of the defensive duties. And as we saw over time, yes, he can do, and that's why he's playing in this squad right now. It's not a massive thing. And for me, Tompkins being good in the air, I think Richards can match that, or maybe even do better. You know, there isn't a clear winner for me.
I agree with you, but remember the Fulham match where he got the red card? You know why he started Tompkins? Because of Mitrovic. Why? The aerial threat. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying
it didn't work though.
It didn't work because he got the red card. But my point is that I'm just going with the mindset I think he's going to go with, is that the height issue, Richards versus Tompkins, he's going to pick Tompkins. I mean, I don't want him to, but I think he's going to pick Tompkins.
Look, it's an interesting debate. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But for me, it has to be Richards, and PV needs to take these risks, because some of these players that he's trusting a bit too much, they're not giving him the returns. I don't think James Tompkins, don't get me wrong, I don't think he had a particularly bad game when he came on against Chelsea. I thought he had a relatively solid appearance.
Yeah, I agree.
He didn't do anything wrong. But saying that, when I'm looking at the opponent, when I'm looking at the opportunity, we've been struggling. I think this is another great opportunity for Richards to step out onto the pitch and show what he's worth. And I don't think he can be much worse than James Tompkins. But look, let's look at the league table as we always do before the games are played. Look, I said pre-game week 19, just like in our last match preview, because, it is that game that is rescheduled. But in terms of the league table, if we do win, we could potentially go up to 11th, level on points with Villa. A draw can keep us at 12th, and a defeat technically can bring us down to 13th. But we've got a game in hand, so we should still remain 12th, even if we do lose, because of the game in hand. Now, for you, Patrick, how important is it to get a result in this game? Because for me, and this might sound a bit crazy, I'm going back to the basics. Keep a clean sheet more than anything, because we are slowly reaching that stage. We need to get stuff. We need to get something out of these games. It doesn't get any easier after the United game, because we've got United coming up in a few games' time once again. And then we've got Newcastle coming up. We've got some Brighton coming up. We need something to build up on. We need that. I know there were positives, but my main focus in this game, it goes back to the old throwback route. Keep the clean sheet. Keep the clean sheet, then build on that. And because Man United, they're red on fire. They are on fire. They're not going to be any easy. But for you, is it a case of is Manchester United, let's go out there, let's see what we can do. And if we get anything, then great. Or do you think Vieira needs to change his ways and maybe focus a bit more on the defensive side of things and make sure that we keep a clean sheet and have something to build upon?
No, I think a clean sheet is very important. I've never been a proponent of the free hit idea. I've always hated that idea. So this to me is not a free hit. Clearly, with our last 3 results being losses, and then we've lost 4 of the 5 since we come back from the restart since the World Cup. We need to get something out of this game. So defensively, solid will be very important for me. It's going to be a difficult task because, again, United are a very good side. They're flying right now. They actually think they can actually win the title now again. They're back in the race. So to me, let's just try and get something out of it. Now, in the past, not so much under Vieira, but under other managers, when we least expect to win a match, we've won. That happened under happened under Pulis, under Allardyce, under Pardew, under Hodgson. Obviously, we always, we beat a Man City, we beat Liverpool, we beat a Man United, we beat somebody we would at least expected it. Am I expecting that to happen on Wednesday? Probably not, but it's something that I think could happen. But it's a rabbit out the hat type thing. But I'd be very happy to get what you just said, D. Focus on defending, focus on the clean sheet, and that guarantees you a point at least. And then if we have to snap, get a lucky goal, I'll take it. But like you just said, to me, let's just focus on being solid defensively, which will help us going forward because we're leaking goals as far as that goes. And let's see if we can go from there.
Exactly. We just need to build points
we have to build
at this stage. Just get points out of these difficult games. And for me, it hasn't been working. I know there were positives against Chelsea, but just try to focus on a point. It is negative. It is a route that I don't like. Even when I'm saying it, I don't like the fact that we got to this stage. But with the games coming up, with the games that we've had and the defeats, just frustrate them, get something out of this game. And it gives that bit of belief going into the Newcastle game. It's another game at home. And and we got a point against them before, and then you go 2 games unbeaten, and it gives you foundations to build up on. So unbeaten, we need to try build some bit of momentum and consistency. So I would go with the defensive route. But in terms of Manchester United, Patrick, the last 5 games, do you know how many defeats they've got in the league?
I was saying none. Or is it 1?
None. Yep. All 5 wins, no draws as well. How many goals have they conceded? Well, I kind of told you this before, so you should remember.
I watched again the City game on Saturday or Sunday. Saturday.
In their last 5 league games, they haven't lost a single game. They've won all 5 games, and they've only conceded one goal in the last 5 games. And that was against Manchester City in the most recent game. Before that, they faced Bournemouth, Wolves, Forest, Burnley won. They're not in the Premier League, so I need to check that out. But I'm pretty sure they got 5 wins in a row. But look, Patrick, it isn't going to be easy. And that's why my mentality going into this game is, all right, they're red on fire. At least try to stop them rather than try to beat them and open up spaces in behind. But for you, what have you liked about Manchester United? And what is the most worrying thing going into this game based on what they've been doing well?
What I've liked about United is the manager, Ten Hag. A team that obviously Man United historically, good team, great team, but the squad was not getting the job done prior to him getting there. He's made so many players better. He's made Wan-Bissaka better, a player who we were linked with, because he wasn't doing well. All of a sudden now, there's absolutely no chance he leaves to go to us or anywhere else. He's made Rashford a better player. Rashford is, scoring goals for absolute fun. Martial's now fit and doing well. Dalot, who plays right back, has done well. Casemiro's come in. Casemiro's a world-class player, but Casemiro's come in and made that midfield ridiculously strong. He's made a player like Anthony, good. He's got this young kid, Garnacho, a teenager coming in and doing well. It's ridiculous. He's playing youngsters when he can. They're a depth. They're a squad with depth. And they brought in Weghorst. Now Weghorst, we all know last year with Burnley scored, I think, 2 or 3 goals. Didn't do well. I'm not going to say it, but we all know he's going to do well when he gets to United because 1, Ten Hag makes him better, and 2, that he's got something to prove. He scored at the World Cup, didn't do well with Burnley, got relegated. He's going to want to come here and do what for 6 months and maybe get a contract somewhere else. So just in general, the squad's been made better by a very good manager. And it worries me because they could probably rest players and still have a very good squad on Wednesday, which we obviously cannot do.
Exactly. And I think we need to be behind the team as well on Wednesday. I know right now we're all frustrated.
There's a lot of
of course,
negativity around.
Defeats is never nice. We need players. We know that as well. But it's in a home game. It's a home game, and we need to try use that as to the best of our advantage. I'll be honest, the Selhurst atmosphere this year hasn't been great.
Oh, okay.
It hasn't felt the same, and probably the results reflect on that. You know, if you have a team that's winning and people look forward to it, people are excited, you got
Right.
something to look forward to. But we haven't had that this season so far. It's been too inconsistent, and maybe that's reflected. But sell us under the lights. Teams still have this perception, and Man United are not going to take us lightly. Trust me, Eric Ten Hag will let
Right.
them know, because on our day, as you said, Patrick, before, we can switch the flip, and then, you know, get into games and win games.
Right.
So hopefully we do show up. But in terms of score prediction, then how do you see this one going?
You know, D, you had some really great points about defensively being solid, but Anderson being out worries me. We just haven't played well at home. I mean, again, you know, we got the Fulham loss, the Spurs loss. I mean, just of recent, the Southampton loss in the cup. It just, and I'd like to say, you know, like I told you before the last game, I'll take a 0-0. I mean, we are home, but honestly, I can't see us keeping a clean sheet. I can't see us getting even a point. I want a point really desperately, but I'm going for a United 2-0 victory, honestly.
Look, I'm always positive, but there's only so much you can be positive with before it reaches out to you. So for me, I'm going for 1-0 United.
Okay.
It is a bit negative. I do understand that, but there's no point on me lying. I just feel like even if we are solid defensively, even if you do focus on that side of the game, it only takes one chance for Marcus Rashford. The guy is ridiculous. He's ridiculously on form, and that's what I'm worried about. That we could potentially give away that one chance. But we got Tyreek back.
That's a good point.
Well against Chelsea. So if Joachim Anderson is fit, Tyreek is fit as well. You never know what could happen, but I'm not really optimistic. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below in terms of your score prediction. How do you see this one going? Who do you see scoring for Palace? If you do predict the Palace goal scorer on the score sheet, let us know. That's it from me and Patrick. We'll be back for the Palace news match reaction. There's lots going on right now. We never know what we'll be back for. We'll be back soon. But look, until next time, up the Palace.